Welcome to Village in Motion. It's that day of the month where we welcome our dining services people here. I won't say our dining services leadership, but one of our dining services leaders, Executive Chef Michael Ritt.
Good morning, good morning.
And our dietitian, one of our dietitians, Mary Smith. Good morning.
Good morning.
And this is a call-in show. I got in trouble last time because I didn't give the phone number often enough. So we'll start out with that phone number. We welcome your calls at 703-663-3333. Which one of you would like to start while we're waiting for a
I
caller?
want to shoot for it, odds or even?
You can go ahead. It's good.
Just a couple things that are coming up. Obviously, we're in April. We have, Easter Sunday, April 21st, and there's going to be special menus. Those should be coming out soon. Obviously, there's special hours, and one thing I want to talk about the hours. We do special hours on certain holidays, and the main reason, I'll tell you, so that our staff can enjoy the holidays as well.
And that's so important.
With their families. And I understand that maybe we open up a little earlier and our hours are shortened, but I think everybody understands.
I look at it this way: look at all the time that they give to us, that they give up.
And we're very
for one
big,
day. Let's let them do it.
The one thing I can say about Erickson, especially Green Spring, is that family life, quality of life is huge.
Oh yes.
It's pertinent and it's number one, and you want your staff to be able to spend time with their family members and enjoy that, and that just makes for a more well-rounded and happier staff. So there'll be hours for that.
Speaking of your staff, I would like to thank you and your staff for the wonderful job they've been doing through the challenges that we have had. And you have a terrific team.
And kudos, and I've said this numerous times, and hats off to just, I tell you what, the CB1, the Fireside Potomac team, I mean, if you realize day in and day out, 7 days a week for the last, when did we start that phase
4
2?
months ago.
October, November, back and forth for not just the Fireside, but they're doing the meals for the Potomac Cafe as well.
Right.
And kudos, hats off to the Jeffrey, all the teams, because it's been a combined community dining effort. Everybody's lent in, and I tell you what, everybody's in shape from going back and forth.
I've heard
But
that
I think
people have
everybody,
lost
but
weight.
it's getting to a point where it puts up challenges.
One of the challenges that Mark Dewey mentioned yesterday was that, our cooking team from CB1 is cooking in the Jefferson kitchen.
Correct.
So it's like if you had your kitchen and you had the cooks from 2 other kitchens come to your house and cook all their meals for 4 months.
Well, let's say we bring your neighbors on both sides of you into your kitchen.
That's exactly
And they're
it.
going to use your kitchen while you're using it.
Oh, of course.
And you're going to prepare everything in one kitchen.
And you're all going to have your own tools, and don't get them mixed up.
And we're, the space in Jefferson didn't expand. It's still the same space, still the same walk-ins and freezers. So there's a lot of logistics, and hats off to it's
They've
team
done
effort.
a wonderful job.
We're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. There's a few, listen, we all live in Fairfax County, and there's inspections and final permitting, and we're in the process of that. I can tell you that it's a beautiful kitchen. And obviously, we'll once we're back into regular service, there'll be times where residents can take a look at the kitchen like we did in the past. So, I think what residents have to understand, yes, was there an inconvenience? Oh, man, absolutely. But the end result is well worth it.
Oh, yes.
Remember, we're a 20-year-old community. So there's a lot of things that we enhanced and added, and people and you're going to get the bang for your buck.
You just don't see it quite yet.
True, and you don't see, when we bring in new equipment, what residents don't realize, well, you're buying new equipment. Well, it's more energy efficient. That oven or the fryer or the grill that we bought, say, 18 years ago or 20 years ago or even 10 years ago is not as efficient as the equipment. It's like a car.
Right.
If you bought same make and model car back in 2000, you bought it today, which one do you think you're going to get better gas mileage with? Which one's going to be easier to operate and more efficient? Same goes for kitchen equipment. So in the long run, we will save money on the usage of the LED lights. The new lights we put in the ceilings use less electricity, but put out more
That lighting is
actual
wonderful in
lighting.
there.
The equipment uses less gas, but puts out more energy. So in the long run, over the time, we are saving money and it's the community money and the residents' money.
Right.
You know, and it's going to be more efficient. It's going to also open up, the big thing we always hear is variety. With this new kitchen, and as we go through the coming years of enhancing the kitchens, it's going to give the culinary teams and management teams that ability to offer more variety, you know, with the new equipment, and also it's a safer kitchen, and that's one of the top priorities.
That floor especially is wonderful.
It's a safer kitchen, it's more open. We want to provide a safe working environment for our teams. You know, that's another thing. When you want to have a quality work, you want to have a job where it's a safe environment.
Right.
So,
that's good.
yeah.
You know what? I don't hear our telephone ringing. Let's give them the number again.
Okay.
703-663-3333.
You're not going to forget this time. Keep
Nope,
going.
I'm not going to forget this time. What else is happening this
April
month?
10th,
Uh-huh.
the monthly birthday cakes.
I have a bone to pick about that.
Okay, you go. Pick your
Here-
bone.
Here I am. I'm speaking on behalf of the people who eat their main meal at lunchtime. Those people never see a birthday cake.
Well, let me see if I can work something out.
I think that would be nice, both in Woodland Skies
And the Potomac
and the
Cafe.
Potomac Cafe.
Let's see what we can do.
I think that would be nice
All right.
because
Matter of fact,
they
you
have
know what?
birthdays too.
I'm going to take my little.
Oh, he's going to write it
I'm
down.
gonna write it
we have some
down.
hope here. Okay. Now, on the 12th, we were originally scheduled to have a special meal.
Correct.
And I understand that we have canceled that because of Lent.
We've canceled that because of Lent. We wanted to make sure that all residents could enjoy, you know, this special day.
Sure.
And this goes back to, we hear you.
Right.
You know, everyone's like, oh, you don't listen to us, or absolutely. And it goes back to, we listened to the residents.
We
We
said,
said, you know
"Wait,
what?
hold
Hey,
off."
no problem. We can, you know, it's just changing a date. It's not going to change what we're going to offer.
But we're going to have a meal sometime.
We will,
And it's
absolutely.
going to be wonderful.
Like every meal here.
It is, I agree. Okay, what else is happening?
April
this month?
26th is National Pretzel Day. So you'll see the treats in the lobbies.
Good.
And that'll be posted different times in all the lobbies.
Good.
On April 22nd, we're going to have from 11 to 12 the Jefferson Dining Room Town Hall.
And for those of you who eat in the Jefferson and the Bistro, come on down. This is the time to ask your questions.
Yeah, what we'd like to say is we have our town halls individually, and it goes back to the communication piece and listening to the residents. We have, the dining admin has their town hall where Tyshawn and Jason and myself, we meet in the theater, and that is more big picture, high level dining program, where these town halls are more geared to the individual venues. You know, if you dine regularly in the Jefferson and Bistro, please come to that.
Yeah.
And if you have some comments or questions, we'd like to hear.
I have a great example of how it's important for residents to give comments. And that is that in the cafe, they have had on the menu a sorbet, a blue raspberry sorbet. And to be honest, it hasn't been selling. They just not very many people are asking for it. So we had one person at our subcommittee meeting yesterday with management say, that sorbet just doesn't taste very good. And so at lunchtime yesterday, we got to asking around with some other people. It's whatever the product is, people don't like it. But if nobody said anything, management had no way to know. Now they can go out and look for a different flavor.
Ty says, closed mouths don't get fed.
There you go.
And I think that's a perfect example of, and I always say, since I've been here, I don't know what I don't know.
Right.
I can't read your mind. If you don't tell me, I can't act on it. We can't act on it. You know, if you have a question, ask.
Yeah.
You know, and we were talking earlier, I'll give you an answer. Sometimes it may not be the answer you want,
But you're going to give us
but
the facts.
I'm going to give you the facts.
Right.
And that's what, speaking of facts.
Mary.
You like that? You like that
was a
segue
great
in there? You
segue.
like that?
Mary, you have just finished
Yeah.
celebrating National Nutrition Month.
Yeah. Yeah, so March was National Nutrition Month, and every March, Helen and I, who's the other dietitian at Green Spring, we try to, even though we're based out of Garden Ridge, we try to come over to IL more often, and so that we can do programs with our IL residents just so they can know that we're here, and also do some education with them. So National Nutrition Month, we had, I think, about 3 to 4 events in independent living, and I brought some pictures to show of what we did. So we had what we called the Wheel of Mythbusters. We were at Fireside when this happened. And we had a really great turnout. So first I wanted to say thank you to all the residents who came. I think we ended up talking between 65 and 75 residents. And what we did is we had a wheel with a whole bunch of myths or facts, and the residents would spin the wheel and tell us if they thought it was a myth or if it was true. And then just by participation, you got added to you got chosen and added to a raffle, and you won a really amazing prize. Of course, we had Chef Mark and Corey choose our winners. So that was really fun.
Oh, is that that's what they were doing?
Yeah, it's fun. And then we had another program where we had the interns come on. The Virginia Tech interns came on Channel 6 last month and did some food safety education with us.
They were very good.
They were wonderful, yeah.
Yes.
And they're still here. They're working in Woodland Skies, so if you haven't met them, go out and meet them. You can see them. They're kind of splitting. Sometimes they'll go front of the house, sometimes they'll be back of the house, and they're rotating. But get to know them, ask them questions. I do want to promote an event that they have coming up too in April. They're going to have a theme meal. I don't know what specific day yet, and they're just kind of narrowing down like what options it's going to be. It's going to be in the Jefferson. So basically, when you're an intern and when you're training to be a dietitian, something you have to go through is you have to learn how basically Chef Michael and the team, how you order food and the whole entire process of getting it here, how you do a recipe expansion from 6 people to like 600 people. So they're going to be learning to do that, and then they'll do the whole entire process, and then they'll have the actual meal for the residents to enjoy, and they'll want feedback on that. So as soon as we know the official date for that, we'll get that out there so that everyone can go and see if it's a good meal. Hopefully it will be. And then we had another event at Woodland Skies where we did some more food safety because we'd gotten a lot of questions, or at Garden Ridge I was getting a lot of people coming in saying they came in from their IL apartment and they had their friend come and pick up stuff from them, and the friend went into their refrigerator and there was so much old unhealthy food, unhealthy being it's been in there for so long, so now it's no longer good for you because residents didn't know when should I throw things out.
It was basically a science experiment by
exactly.
that time.
Gone wrong.
Yeah, right.
So we did a little education session on how to figure out what you should and shouldn't throw away in your fridge. So we had a fridge set up in Woodland Skies, and you would go into the fridge and you have to pick out what was wrong in the fridge and how to fix it. So that was
sorry,
really
I missed
good.
that.
Yeah, it was good. It was a lot of fun. And it's okay that you missed it, and it's okay that some people missed the Wheel of Mythbusters because I actually brought some of the game that we played with the residents because we were aware that not everyone could come.
See how good you
So
are.
we're going to test your guys' knowledge. Michael, if you get these wrong, I'm be really upset with you.
You'd be really in trouble.
I'm not. Go ahead.
So I wish I could bring the wheel, but that would have been a lot of work, and we had to give it back to employee health.
One thing you mentioned that really hit home with me as I read, because I read all of the comment cards from the community. And often we have people that say, well, in this recipe, you need to add, a little more of this to do this. And it's so difficult to understand that it's not like cooking in your own home for 3 or 4 people. You're cooking for batches for 400 people.
Yeah.
And it's a whole different ball game.
It is.
Sometimes it's hard for people to understand that.
Yeah, and we also, you're cooking for people, so your equipment is different and how you store it, and you're trying to make sure when you plate it that it stays warm enough for the residents to get. So there are a lot of parts that go into it, and it's important for all of our team to learn the proper ways to store that.
Yeah.
So, yep. So
I think Virginia Tech turns out good people.
Oh, good.
Excellent
I'm one
people.
of actually, both Helen and I are Virginia Tech.
Go
I can
Hokies.
tell.
Go Hokies.
So what
All right.
questions do you have for
Okay,
us?
so I wish I had the wheel, but it would have made a lot of noise.
That's all right.
And it was actually surprising how many residents were afraid to turn it, and they would be really timid at first, and then they would come and just like swing that thing, and it went so fast. They're pretty strong.
Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah. So one of them is all sugar is the same and is bad for you. Is this a myth or a fact?
I would say that sugar isn't necessarily bad because it's a carbohydrate, and our bodies need carbohydrates for
Correct.
energy.
Yes, perfect. That's a great answer. Michael, do you agree with that?
I do.
Yes.
That's true.
So not all sugar is the same, because you're right. And, carbohydrates, they're all going to be broken down to carbohydrates, but they're going to break down in different ways. And carbohydrates aren't bad
at
for you.
different speeds.
Yeah,
and
at different
there are
speeds.
different sugars. You have, sugars in your fruits and vegetables, as well as sugar that you actually add into your...
sugar, chemically altered
From
sugar.
the standpoint of a diabetic, it's still sugar, and it's still
Correct.
something that
Correct.
needs to be very
Monitored.
carefully monitored.
Exactly.
Correct.
Sugar will affect your blood sugar, so your blood glucose, which is important for a diabetic to monitor. But overall, carbohydrates are not bad for you. It's your brain's first source of energy, and it's your body's first source of energy too. So you need that to run.
I like that. I'll use that excuse.
Yeah, and it's
This
very
is for my
important.
brain while
Yeah.
I'm drinking this soda.
Well,
I'm
it's
trying to get
true.
smarter here.
Right.
Leave me alone.
You know,
Eating ice
it's
cream.
funny that when there's like SOLs or testing going on, like the SAT or something like that, they always advertise eat a really good hearty breakfast, and they always say eat whole grains, and you're like, so why are you just promoting that on a day when you have a test? Because it's true, like
Should be
your
every
body
day.
needs carbs to function. Can you tell that I'm against the ketogenic diet? So it's
Just a bit. The ketogenic diet that Mary refers to is basically a no carbohydrate.
no
Correct.
carbohydrate diet, and so it's, I mean, it is one way to lose weight, but if you also want to always create a balance, because you want to fuel your body correctly. So that's one thing we got.
Someday
a lot of
we'll do a
comments
show
That's a
on
good way to
crazy person diets.
And it's a good way, you want to start your day off right.
Yes.
All right, next one.
Next question. Let's give this one to Michael.
Oh yeah, okay. Being thin means you're healthy.
Not necessarily.
Good, perfect. I'm glad you got that wrong. All right, so everyone got this one right, thankfully.
Good.
But there's a lot of common beliefs when people find out I'm a dietitian, like if I'm in line at Starbucks, so the first thing I guarantee you they're gonna say is like, oh my gosh, like you need to fix me. But the reality is the best way to tell if you're healthy is basically how your body functions. Like, are you able to move around okay? Are you physically active? And looking at your lab work, your blood work, basically, because that'll give us a really good insight into, is everything balanced in your body right now? And is everything working the way that it should be? Because some people are naturally just going to be a little bit bigger bone, whereas other people are a little bit smaller.
And some of it has to be genetics as well.
Exactly.
Oh, but sure.
You know.
Yes.
So there's a common phrase that we pass around amongst dietitians, like, don't try to fit your size 10 foot into a size 8 shoe, which is so
My
common.
daddy had another way of putting it, but I can't say it on TV.
Okay.
Okay. But, people like the public makes you think that, being really thin is most attractive and also the most healthy, which is not necessarily true.
Right.
Because just because you're thin doesn't mean your body is at its best
There's
function.
a balance.
Oh, I like this one.
Okay,
We
what's
have a
this
little guest on here.
Okay, the picture here is, if you can't see the picture, folks watching in, this is a picture of Jason Healy, our Assistant Dining Services Manager.
He's going to be so happy with me.
And
Oh,
he
this is
says the
on here.
majority of food at Green Spring is pre-made.
Is this
This is
That's a no.
so false.
all right? Why don't you talk about this
So,
one?
and that's why, ask questions. I would say 85, if not more, of our food is made in-house. Our soups, our salsas, we cut our own seafood and we trim the meat and cut our own poultry. We very, very little comes in, actually really nothing. Everything we do is in-house, and that goes back to the variety and the quality and offering, wholesome, good food. So, yeah, I would say 85, 90% is
We
made
don't make
in-house.
our own ice cream.
We don't make our own ice cream, and majority of our desserts we don't make.
Okay.
But you don't have to eat them if you're really against pre-made food.
That's
That's
right.
it.
Again,
Again, it goes back to choice.
I get a kick out of, I see comments complaining about this and this and this and this and an equal number of things saying these are wonderful. I've never seen a complaint about a dessert.
No. Maybe that we need, someone wants something added, but never like my dessert was terrible.
We have a telephone call. Caller,
have a follow-up.
do you have a question?
Yes, I heard that there's a lady comes in early every day to make the soups.
That actually, each soup is made in the kitchen by the chefs. There's not one individual that goes around and makes all the soups. That would be one heck of a job. But
Yeah.
all our soups are in-house, homemade, but
Low
they're made by the
sodium.
low. We use our chicken, beef, and vegetable bases are low sodium, gluten-free. Those three. Now we use other bases, but those three are low sodium, gluten-free bases.
Okay.
And each kitchen, the chefs in each kitchen make their own
Make
soups.
their own soups, but
Oh, yeah.
according to a specific recipe.
Well, we have a recipe vault that has about 11,000
many,
recipes.
but they all follow a recipe.
Correct. There's a
Right.
recipe that they follow, and
Yeah.
they have freedom of choice of what soup they
Yeah.
want to serve. But everything's made in
That was a
kitchen.
good MythBuster question.
Yeah.
I'm glad that. Thank you for your call.
I do have one follow-up comment on that. A lot of people got this wrong specifically because of the construction. They said because Potomac Cafe and Fireside were going through construction in the kitchen that we were ordering pre-made food. And we were able to open up a dialogue between the residents saying that actually we're still making everything in-house.
Of
The
course.
transportation is different though.
Yes.
But that was a myth that had been going around the community that we were
Interesting.
able to discuss with the residents and kind of,
Absolutely.
you know,
and always ask.
Yeah.
always ask.
It's always better to ask.
All right, do we have time
We have
for
about
more?
2 minutes
Sure.
left.
Okay,
Let's do
want to
one
do
more.
one more? Okay, this one is one that almost everyone got wrong.
Okay.
Eating fat makes you fat.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a trick question.
It is kind of a
It
trick
depends.
question.
There's certain fats. That it depends on there's saturated fats, and there's actually
Unsaturated.
unsaturated fats that you consume. So it depends on.
It's like
And it's
anything
also
else,
everything,
imbalanced.
and also everything is in quantity.
Yes.
If you're
there
going to
you
sit
go.
there, if you're going to sit there and pour bacon fat on your ice cream and chow down,
Yeah.
you might have
Yeah.
a little problem later on.
I'm always interested every time we have a Sunday bar with dipped ice cream, and people will come out with, 2, 3, sometimes 4 dips of ice cream. And I'm thinking, number 1, a lot of sugar. Number 2, a lot of fat. And number 3, these are the people that talk about, we have too much food, et cetera, et cetera. Going, okay, you're eating 4 dips of ice cream here, but it's all about balance.
Yeah. And just like the carbohydrate question, there are different types of sugar and there are different types of fat, like you mentioned. You have
Yes.
your unsaturated fat, your saturated fat, your trans fat. And you don't want to have any of them in excess, but fat is good for you and you do need it to your body to function.
It goes back to when you have blood work done. You have good cholesterol and bad cholesterol.
That's right.
HDL and
Yes.
so
LDL, yeah.
it's the same.
But you said the key, your body needs it to
Needs
function.
it to function, which is why salmon is one of our top sellers. It's because it has that omega fatty acids for you, which is so good for you.
Mm-hmm.
And
You
they're
know,
good for your
nuts.
brain, correct?
Well, they're actually better for your joints, but
Oh, okay.
the carbohydrates are good for your brain,
Brain.
though, believe it or not.
Okay.
But yeah, and you have your nuts, which are healthy fats too, avocado. So yeah, not all fats are bad for you.
So we have 30 seconds.
Real quick, one thing, and I brought this in talking about food safety and preparing the food. The one thing that we use here at Green Spring, and this is
Yes.
all through, and I think they have a slide on it, but it's I don't know how good they. Here we go.
Yeah,
This is an antimicrobial produce wash and a fruit and vegetable wash, and basically it's FDA, EPA approved. It's biodegradable, and it's consumable. And every piece of produce that comes through here, this fights off and removes any kind of bacteria, pathogens that can be on your food. It takes the wax off. And every piece of produce that comes through here goes through a rinse. We rinse it for about 90 seconds, and then we let it air dry, and then we utilize the produce in your foods.
That's
But-
interesting to know.
Yeah,
and I'm
it's-
happy to hear it.
Yeah, and we've been using it for years, and it's something that is in every kitchen, and it's utilized daily. It's every day.
Just another example of how
another
you
step.
take good care of us.
Correct. It's just another step in the food safety, providing, that the dining experience. I don't say it's a meal; it's a dining experience, because there's a lot that's involved in it. So just a little
Some of the
snippet.
things behind the scenes that we don't see. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you
Thanks
for
for
having
having
We
us.
look forward to seeing you both again next month.